Hello and welcome to the 6th video in this tutorial on how to make a Pong game. In this tutorial we will be mostly finishing off. We will be keeping track of the scores and so making it so that the player loses when the ball hits the side of the scone behind the paddles. So let's get started by just creating two variables in our playstate class, just saying there, left, score. Now we could put this score inside the paddle class, but I think for our simple game this is going to be just as easy and will work just as fine. But keep in mind that you could create a variable in your paddle class saying score, so each paddle has a score. But this is more than fine for now. Let's just say var left score equals 0 and var right score equals 0, just for simplicity, so that we don't have to refer to the objects. But we could do it either way, it doesn't really matter. So now we are remembering the left and the right score. We need to make the player lose when the ball goes on the behind the paddles. So we are actually going to be doing this in the play state, because although it's generally best to put things in the classes like here, because our game's so simple and we're nearly finished it, it will be okay if we put a few more things in here, considering this file is only 56 lines long. So in the update method, just put here if ball dot x, so its left right position, is smaller than 0, just like we did inside the ball class with the top and the bottom of the scone. We can say if the ball has hit the left side of the scone, so behind the paddle, then increase right score. Then we can copy and paste this and say if ball dot x plus ball dot width, so this is getting the right side of the ball, is larger than the width of the scone, then we increase the left score because the ball has went off the right side of the scone. So now that we have done that, so increase right score, we're actually going to increase the score. So just put in right score plus plus. We could say right score equals right score plus 1 or right score plus equals 1, but just putting plus plus will just increase this. Just increase it by 1. And then if it goes off the right side of the screen, then we increase the left score. So just write left score plus plus, semicolon. Just like that. And now when it goes off the side of the screen, it will register that it has and increase the score. Now that's fine, but that doesn't actually stop the ball from just continuing. It will just keep on saying, yep, it's off the side of the screen, just increase that score. It's never resetting it and putting it back in the middle of the screen. So to fix that, we'll go to our ball class and just write a function that resets the ball after it has scored someone a point. So just write function, not override because we're not extending anything from FlexSprite. Just write function reset ball, just like that. Then you've got your normal brackets and your curly brackets. And when we increase the scores here, we will just say reset ball dot reset reset ball. Yep, just like that. And now when it goes off the side of the screen, it will tell the ball that someone scored a point, and in here we can bring the ball back to the center of the screen and start a timer so that it can start moving to the right again. So let's make a new timer here and say that when the timer has finished, so let's just make it a 1, 2, 3 second delay, and when the time is finished, make the ball move to the right again, just like we did when we initially set the speed up here. So we want it to freeze in the middle of the screen. So just say x equals flex g dot width divided by 2, and y equals flex g dot height divided by 2. So that'll put it back in the center. Now I will still try and continue moving in the direction it was. So to fix that, just write velocity dot set. So we could do velocity dot x equals 0, velocity dot y equals 0. But a handy function is to just go velocity dot set, and normally you give it some numbers like 84 and 43, which would set it to have a velocity of x 84 and y 43. But if you pass it no arguments, it just stops the velocity and sets both axes to have 0. Now this will just freeze the ball in the middle of the screen, so we need to start a timer so that it can start moving to the right when the time is finished. So to do that, we need to import timer. So just write import flixel.util.flixtimer. And down here, we use that timer object. So just say new flix timer. And then in brackets, it takes a time. So let's just give it a time of 2 seconds for now. And a callback. A callback is what happens when the time is completed. Now this also takes a third argument, which is the amount of times it should loop, but we're just going to leave that because we only want this function to be called once. So just write here function. So we're actually passing it a function inside the argument list. We could create a new function and just write the name of that function here, which is probably cleaner, but I'm just going to put it inside this. Just make sure you have the right balance between the brackets because that can get confusing. So just write function, and then in the curly brackets just put timer. So it accepts a function, and that function has to take one argument, which is the timer, and that's this timer here. That's so that in our callback, if we wanted to reset the timer, change how long the timer went for, or any of that, we could do that. But we're not going to use this, but we still have to put it in the argument list. Now put your curly brackets there. And in this is called 2 seconds after the ball has been put back in the center of the screen. So we can just write, when we created the ball, we started it with a speed of 150 to the right. So we can actually just copy and paste that, put that here, and so after 2 seconds of it being reset and put to the middle, it will start with a velocity to the right. So let's try and run it. It might have an error, but we will just fix them. We do. Right, unknown identifier ball in the paddle class. I've put this in the wrong file. I've put ball.reset ball in the wrong file. I meant to put this in the play state. Yeah, when we increase the scores. So ball.reset score. No. Reset ball. That's what it was. And copy and paste this to be for the left as well. Now, let's see if we have any errors. And we cannot access the private field reset ball. Right, in the ball class, we just have to put public so that all other objects can call that method, because it didn't have access to call this function before. Now let's see if it works. It's run. Right, so let's straight off just miss it. Right, puts it in the middle. 2 seconds later, it restarts. So it seems like we have a working Pong game. 2 seconds later, it'll put it in the middle and go to the right. So you could call it quits at this point, but it's very important that the player knows the scores. So let's put some text in our game. Just up here in the state class, the play state class, we can just put there score text equals new flex text, and we are going to give this an X position of 0 and a Y position of 0, which is on the top left side. And the reason we're going to do this is because we're going to have a text field that starts here and stretches all the way across to the other side of the screen, and then set the alignment to center so the text is in the middle of the screen. Then field width, just put flex g.width. And then here for the text, let's just give it an argument 0, then that symbol 0. It's like that. So it's saying left player has a score of 0, right player has a score of 0. And then add this text to the display and the same, just like that. And one other thing we might want to do is adjust the formatting. So we can just put score text dot set format, and then here you can give it your own custom font. So if you wanted to change the font, I'm not going to do that, but you have to put assets / fonts and then your font name, so like happy.etf, and then you obviously have to put a font in that location. I'm not actually going to use a custom font because I think that the one that comes with Hexaflexor is suitable for our game. So if you just put null here, it will use the default font, which is this pixely font. Now I'm going to set the size of the font to be 24. I'm going to adjust the color, so just put flex color dot. You have to import flex color by the looks of things. So just right up here, import flexor.util.flexcolor as we have done before. And let's actually set the color to be green, just like that. And alignment, we want that to be center. So just write in here, center, just like that. And now if we run our game, now you will see the text up the top, 0, 0, that's our score. Now obviously it's not actually changing the scores yet. Even though it's changing the variables, it's not changing the text field. So what we have to do is every time that one of the players changes the score, let's just change the text. So write score text dot text equals, and then left score. So we're putting a variable, so that number plus, and then in quotation marks because this is a string, this symbol here, a line up, and then plus right score. It's like that. And copy and paste this to be both sides. Just like that. And now, oh no, I've still made one mistake. It's not going to know what score text is at the moment because we never actually remember it as a variable. So up here where we have our other variables, just write var score text, and it's of a type flex text, just like that. And then here we don't need to put var because it's already been created up here. We just need to give it some more information there. Now that we have that, let's try and run the game. And now if we miss the ball, we'll see that the right player has scored a point. Now if the left player loses, if the left player loses, it should happen. Oh, what am I doing? This player has to lose. Yep, there we go. So it's working as expected. just like that. So we've got a score of 2 and a score of 3. So that, I think, will be the end of this video. And we've put scores in. In the next video, we will fancy things up. We might add maybe another scene with like a game over showing who won if the first play the 10 or whatever. And we might add some sound effects and make things a bit fancy. So thanks for watching.